Welcome to NETTDay. This is number 14, I believe. My name is Mike Bedell. I'm Dean of the College of Business and Technology. NET, of course, stands for Northeastern Empowerment Through Technology. And day is about today. So welcome to NETTDay. We hope we have an intriguing program for you, something that's forward-looking and thoughtful and grabs the leading edge. And so that's really the purpose. I want to thank the various faculty that have been involved in this, in putting this together. There's a faculty committee, Dave Jordan, who you met, Tung Ku, who's over here, Ahmed Khalid in the back, and some others that I'm missing at this point. But, again, thank those faculty for putting this together. I hope you guys have a great day, and it's thoughtful, and do not hesitate to talk to these folks, ask questions during, ask questions after, that's how you're going to learn. So, thanks for being here. Have a great day.
So these sessions will be the session for the we welcome two speakers from Pricewaterhouse and Coopers, Amy and Xiaoyue, to share with us for their experience. Amy and Xiaoyue, they are the senior manager in the digital assurance and transparency as PwC. They have 10 years of experience working on their job. So I think that you're going to enjoy their speech, and also enjoy to share with them about working experience. Thank you, and please pay attention to their speech. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, just kind of to reiterate, my name's Amy, and this is Sherry. We both work for PwC in the digital assurance and transparency practice. So we do have digital experience. We don't have a lot of presentation experience, so please be kind. So the goal here really is to share some of our knowledge and know-how, because PwC prioritizes innovation. We've made major investments in artificial intelligence recently, but we equally prioritize the factoring in of risks, threats, anything sort of sourced from this new way of working. So our goal today is to discuss the risks, the AI journey that businesses are on, and keep all of that in mind. I think, so how do we get to?
So we will start with a polling question. You guys can scan the QR code on the screen. Let me see if I can make it bigger, or yes, or you can do the text or website, however you prefer.
Okay, so we've got at least one person also familiar with DALL-E. Most people using ChatGPT, not unexpected. You wanna
do next one? Oh, some people are ahead of the game already.
All right, so what have you used ChatGPT for? Everything. All right.
I like that.
Resume, that's smart. Homework. Not surprised.
Thanks for being honest.
Very cool. Boredom. I like that one as well. Minecraft. I don't know enough. Traveling.
Back to the map.
All right. Everyone had a chance to answer? What else? What do we got? What's our final answer here?
Homework. Oops, sorry.
No, you're fine. Homework makes sense. Well, moving into our agenda, so you'll see that we're going to hit on just a refresher sort of crash course. What is AI and Gen AI? We'll get into some use cases that we're seeing in the industry through our clients, as well as our own investment as a firm, what we're doing. And then lastly, we'll go over just some of the things to be aware of in the way of risks, threats, and ultimately how you can do so, well, use AI responsibly. So to start with getting grounded, artificial intelligence, not new. It was invented in 1956. However, the way we talk about it and think about AI has changed in the last 67 years, you know, even more so in the last year alone. We've seen incredible acceleration in both the maturity and application of the technology. So you can kind of see our levels here. There are different types of AI, machine learning being one of those, where computers determine outputs based upon data sets. Some examples being spam filters or Google autocomplete. Deep learning, the next level down, is a more sophisticated form of AI. It involves formation of neural networks and considers multiple layers of data in order to return an output. So where machine learning might identify a picture of a fruit as an orange, deep learning would identify it as an orange. It would also figure out where that picture was taken and the season the image was taken in. Examples include autonomous vehicles and websites that can make black and white photos into color. With the insurgence of Gen AI, we've seen the first truly interactive use of AI by the public to create new content. As is listed here, you can see that new content being written, visual, or auditory, or a combination of all. So everyone seems familiar with ChatGPT, at least awareness. Has anyone played around, besides maybe the one person that owned up to it, with DALL-E, the visually focused? We got one guy. Have you seen other people use it? Like one of my favorite example is John Oliver on, what was that, Last Week Tonight? He does this whole 20-minute spiel, very informative, but also very funny, where he, through a series of DALL-E generated images, marries a cabbage. And then it's a whole thing. It's very funny, but definitely recommend it if you're wanting to like bone up on your Gen AI understanding. What else? So to expound on the Gen AI concept, user interfaces make it easily available to anyone who wants to interact with the large language model or LLM in a chat-like interaction. To the user, it appears that AI is answering complex questions with the same expertise as a highly intelligent individual with perfect grammar. It's important to remember that LLMs do not understand what they say. They are not self-aware. They will not replace people, but people who are able to use AI to do their work will replace people who cannot. We've listed some general use case examples here. Maybe the most familiar to you likely being that contact center dialogue for anyone who's, you know, leveraged a product support website, that kind of thing. And we'll get into more use cases in our next section. Here we've depicted some of the key reasons AI is being discussed and leveraged more than ever. So the graph, hopefully it's visible enough, shows that compared to human performance, AI has only recently started outperforming us in the key metrics or benchmarks. We've got handwriting, speech, and image recognition, along with reading comprehension and language understanding. That last year, because it is kind of small, being 2020. So you can kind of see they all just sort of made the jump over the human performance line. I'll highlight a few of the blurbs here. So AI training costs are rapidly declining year over year. I think it's a 60% reduction. In 4 years, AI language systems have advanced 10,000 times and at lower costs. And maybe most sort of interesting, ChatGPT has passed various exams with like the SAT with A grades. And then it has generated the largest and fastest user base compared to any other technology in history. So 100 million new users in 60 days. By comparison, you've got Netflix that took 18 years to reach the same. You've got Spotify that took 11. You've got Facebook that took 4.5, Instagram 2.5. The closest TikTok took 9 months. So let's get into our next section about what businesses are doing. So companies are approaching Gen AI differently or combining a mix of approaches for different parts of their business. Through discussions with CIOs at my various clients, I've seen both ends of the spectrum. To be clear, though, no one is at that full business transformation at this point in the adoption cycle. So to describe sort of that spectrum I mentioned, you've got clients that have chosen to completely restrict access to public Gen AI available like ChatGPT in order to avoid the risk that an employee might accidentally, or well, on purpose, depending, but accidentally upload confidential information that they don't want out in the public. And they've also set extremely high return on investment bars, where they might say that in order to create this new AI tool, we need to see at least a 20-hour minimum return on investment in year 1 of the tool's creation, which is extremely high considering how much it would take to invest in creation. On the other end, I've also seen clients that recognize avoidance is not the answer. These companies acknowledge that the human element in technology will always have an associated risk. But instead of restricting access, they have incorporated reminder prompts. So when you're using ChatGPT on the network for your company, it might say, hey, make sure you're using this responsibly. Here's how to do so before you can access the site. They've also, these kind of companies have incorporated a new digital transformation group that reports up to the CIO, with their job being leading the business and IT groups on the journey and collaborating in all of that effort. So let's see what else. Maybe an important concept. So just individually, when you're using Gen AI one-on-one, I think we can all acknowledge it's a pretty remarkable tool. You know, even non-techies can do crazy things with it and speed up their time-consuming tasks pretty easily. But Gen AI's real advantage in the business world is that it's a catalyst for transforming entire processes, functions, and business models. That's only possible, however, when businesses and start thinking about how they can securely tap in to their unique data and intellectual property through Gen AI tools, connect to their broader ecosystems, reimagine how things are done. And that includes how employees are doing their day-to-day job and how customers might be interacting and engaging with their business. We have a couple slides here listing example use cases in existence today. This one starts off with the fundamental components of Gen AI and what it can bring to the table. So as this shows, Gen AI can summarize, it can query, improve, newly create. So kind of to bring that all together in an example, let's consider cybersecurity. So new Gen AI could help quickly pinpoint threats by summarizing data for a company's cyber team. then Gen AI can help speed remediation by enabling the security team to ask for details and receive specific guidance through a chat interface. We've also got a few what we call starter Gen AI. So this is some things we've seen in some example industries. They've got the retail industry here, and where we've seen successful adoption is they've started to use it to analyze consumer and supply chain data in order to build out shopper targeting and inventory management plans more successfully. We've also seen more successful use of Gen AI for marketing. Maybe a fairly famous example of this, or a play on this really, is Ryan Reynolds has a Mint Mobile commercial that you may have seen, where he takes a prompt that he inputs into ChatGPT, gives it a set of criteria to meet for creating the ad while he's in this ad, and then reads aloud what the results of the commercial are. Just pretty cool concept, available on YouTube, I would recommend. And then we've got over here the consumer product goods industry. We've seen, the same sort of data analysis to evaluate and refine their product mix, contracts, growth strategy. When it comes to marketing effectiveness, companies leverage AI to consume external content such as social media posts, rapidly summarize said trends, and create suggested action plans. We've also got some items listed for hospitality and airlines. You've probably interacted with chatbots and virtual assistants or reservation management. And then airlines, I can't say how successful they've been yet, but they're trying to use Gen AI right now to create crew plans and I guess improve on the customer experience. I think our next set of slides is all about what PwC is doing. So a little more internal. PwC is investing $1 billion over the next 3 years to expand and scale our AI capabilities. This investment features an industry-leading relationship with Microsoft, the owner of OpenAI, creating scalable offerings using GPT-4. For those unfamiliar, that's like the newer, better version of ChatGPT. I think you'd have to pay for an upgrade if you wanted to use it yourself. We plan to leverage this technology to help support clients in reinventing their businesses in the same way we are doing ourselves. We're also upskilling 65,000 people. That's how many we have in the US, I believe, on the AI tools, capabilities, so that we can work faster, smarter, help grow our own careers, and then equally help our clients in growing their own. And I think we have a demo of what we're calling Chat PwC. I didn't come up with a name, but.
In a world buzzing with excitement and uncertainty surrounding generative AI, enterprises face a perplexing challenge: how to harness its power while safeguarding their sensitive information. Let's look at how a marketing professional could leverage generative AI, in this case, Chat PwC, PwC's private enterprise generative AI chatbot, to create marketing materials in moments. We start by uploading the annual PwC Trust Report and generating an article in the voice of a PwC partner, summarizing the key stats and findings. so generating a summary of this report is just a well-engineered prompt away. The settings let you adjust ChatPWC's tone, the underlying version of ChatGPT being used, the level of creativity, and the length of the response. These choices help ChatPWC run more efficiently or in a more detailed manner, depending on your needs. Next, we ask ChatPWC to generate a template for an email campaign to clients with the right call to action. For a multi-channel campaign, ChatPWC can also help generate content to be published on different social media sites. And it can do it in other languages too. Generative AI is a game-changing tool for marketers. By leveraging intelligent and secure systems like our own ChatPWC, marketers can overcome resource constraints, create authentic content, and captivate their audience. Don't miss out on the transformative power of generative AI for all your marketing endeavors.
All right. So probably tailored to some individuals that are less familiar, have less time on their hands to play around with Chat GPT. But hopefully you kind of saw maybe some of the parallels of how you've used it, or maybe some new ideas of how to use it yourself, the public version.
Yep. With that, we'll get into our next section of talking about some stress and risks associated with Gen AI. Let's start with a question. Would you feel safe in a plane that was being piloted by an AI-powered system completely without human being? No human pilot, just completely by AI. If you want to back out your answer, I hope it allows you to do that. I think we have about 30 people total. Second. Yeah, it feels like maybe some people after a second thought change to be no. I don't know. I think that's about everyone. Yeah. For those of you who said yes, let's see if you will change your mind after we talk about all those risks associated with Gen AI. Of course, there are plenty of reasons we could be excited about Gen AI, its power, ease of use, but with great potential comes great risk, just like everything else in our life. As companies begin exploring Gen AI use cases, here are some key risks companies should be mindful of. First, bias and fearless. Gen AI can produce biased, offensive, or misleading content. Like conventional AI, Gen AI can display bias against people largely due to its data, because it's taking the real world data and preferences as input. It can also learn and imitate our biases as well. But the risks here can be more intense, since it may also create in your name misinformation and abusive content. An AI system that human users are unable to understand can lead to a black box effect. Gen AI usually runs on a foundational model that's being developed by a specialized third party who built it. Since you don't own this model, you might not understand why it produced a particular output. Some Gen AI tools may not even disclose what third-party solutions they are using. Cyber threats. Just as Gen AI can help you produce compelling content, it can also help malicious actors to do the same. It could, for example, analyze a company executive's emails, social media posts, and appearances on video to impersonate their writing style, the way they are talking, and the facial expressions. Gen AI could then produce an email or video that appears to be from the executives, spreading misinformation or urging their stakeholders to share sensitive data.
And I actually have an example story about that. I was speaking with a CIO recently, and she really opened her executives' eyes by sort of manipulating the same concept. So she sort of created a fake cyber threat, and then along with that also worked with a company to create a video where it presented that her CEO was making this threat sort of public on YouTube, and so was working with her team, like, to recognize that this threat is real, that it really can make a compelling version of threats that weren't necessarily as hard to distinguish between real content before. And then was working with her executives to sort out, okay, so what do we do? It's public now. How do we address this? So pretty cool.
Then a few other example risks, hallucinations. Gen AI is good at coming up with convincing answers to almost any question you ask, but sometimes its answer can flat wrong, yet presented authoritatively. That's what a data scientist call as hallucination. Hallucinations occur in part because the models are often designed to generate content that seems reasonable, even if it's not always accurate. So I think some examples we have talked about is sometimes if you ask ChatGPT, the example we talked about how many commandments there are, it will say 12. So the additional one seems really right if you really don't know the additional details of the subject. IP risks, I think Amy touched on that briefly earlier. Since all the information you enter into Gen AI model could enter into a database and become widely shared without care, you could find your proprietary data and insights may help your competitors actually generate content. Also, with so much data underlying Gen AI, you may not always know its source or if you have permissions to use it. For example, you may reproduce a copyrighted text, image, or code in the content that is produced under your name. Privacy breaches, Gen AI ability to collect data in its vast data set could break through complex privacy controls. By identifying relationships among apparently disparate data points, it could identify stakeholders who you have anonymized and piece together their sensitive information. Here are just a few examples of the risks. There is also a risk of unknown, like what we don't know about AI that could open the door to other potential risks as well. With the risks in mind, companies need to be able to provide answers to a lot of tough questions. Here are some example questions. How do they protect against attacks and confirm AI is secure and robust? How do they confirm AI is in alignment with their company's value? Are the models treating everybody fairly? It's critical to anticipate problems and future-proof complete systems so they can fully realize AI potential. What's more important is that not only companies need to be ready to provide answers to all those questions, but also demonstrate what they are doing from a governance and a compliance perspective. Managing risk is key to success for the companies we have seen. Earning trust as companies deploy Gen AI will enable them to take advantage of the benefits this game-changing technology offers quickly. That requires responsible AI, a methodology designed to enable AI's trusted and ethical use. Through technologies, process, and upskilling, responsible AI help address the risks we just talked about in the previous slide. According to PwC recent trust survey, nearly all the business leaders say their company is prioritizing AI-related initiatives, but only 35% of them say their company will focus on improving the governance of AI systems, processes, monitoring and reporting on AI model performance. We as PwC drives governance and accountability through our responsible AI framework that's shown on this slide. Our responsible AI toolkit is a suite of customizable frameworks, tools, and processes designed to help our clients harness the power of AI in an ethical and responsible manner, from strategy to all the way to the execution. Our framework helps our clients to make strong decisions on how AI is used ethically and responsibly for their business. If there is one golden rule for responsible AI, that would be it's better to implement trust by design and ethics by design from start, rather than racing to close the gap after systems are up and running. That's why whatever the company's maturity level with AI, including GAI, it's wise to put responsible AI front and center as soon as possible and keep it in top of mind every step of the way. I would say that goes for every one of us as an end user for Gen AI as well. With that, we will close. After you heard our presentation about Gen AI, its risks, how do you feel about AI? Are you super excited, concerned, anxious, or indifferent? That's great. Seems like most of you are very excited and curious to learn more.
I like indifferent.
With that, maybe we'll open the floor for any questions.
They probably don't want to call them accounting firm. They probably say we're very comprehensive, multifaceted company. So basically, just to give you guys a general idea, their clients are mostly Fortune 500. So many of the brands you have heard are their clients. So their company is now adapting to into an AI world. So that's why they come up with this topic, and they talk about how to use the AI with the consideration of ethics issues and responsibility issues. So I think that's very important because AI is a tool. It all depends on how you use this tool. Right. And we all know that there could be biases in the tool. There could be unintended harm. So a lot of things we pay attention to when we use the AI, and maybe there needs to be some regulations, right? Because just like a GDPR, that's a while ago, that originated in European countries, where you have to make clear what you're going to use your users' data for, right? So I think, of course, these companies that uses this AI tool, they come up with their own policy. Helpful and correct way. So I think their presentation is very informative, and I wanted to open the floor for questions. So if you have any questions about AI or about their company, first, or maybe job opportunities, anything. And like I said, they're a multifaceted company, so they do have a lot of job opportunities, not only in business side, they also have cybersecurity team that handles all the cyber threats. That comes up every single day. There could be a lot of opportunities. Questions? No questions? Great opportunity. Yeah.
I think on the PwC website, there is a way you can search for opportunities online. And your school probably have the career website you can search as well. But on PwC website, there is like jobs where you can search by location or by which service line. What's the other word for service line? Which practice you want to apply for.
It does depend on the practice. Some of our practices, yes. I don't know off the top of my head which ones.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.